Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. And yesterday I showed you guys my very casual Frightfur Fluffle Edge Imp deck. And today I just kind of wanted to talk over some of the strategies with you. So again, if you guys haven't seen the deck list, maybe pause the video, go back into one of my playlists, or just go back to the channel and find it, because again, I don't know how to overlay this stuff on YouTube yet. Still learning. Additionally, let's just talk it over. Again, I didn't want to do much in the way of like an actual test hand, because again, I just didn't get to play this as much, and it would be 20 minutes of me going, maybe. The most that you really need to know is just breaking down some of the good effects in here. So, like, one of them is Bear. Bear is going to do two things for you. You're going to be able to send him from your hand to the discard pile, and it's going to grab you Toy Vendor. It's actually going to set it, and then what you're going to be able to do is flip this up, and then once per turn, you can discard a card, draw a card, show it, and then if you did draw another Fluffle, then you can special summon a monster from your hand. It doesn't have to be a Fluffle. You guys can play an Edge Imp. Otherwise, you have to discard the card you drew. And if this gets sent to the discard pile, you can add Edge Imp Sabers or any Fluffle monster from your deck to your hand, which is very, very good. And again, we're going to have ways to just destroy cards of our own through the use of our fusions. And one of the best ways to get rid of this is actually going to be wings. So again, if this is in the graveyard and you control Toy Vendor, you can banish this from the graveyard, target a Fluffle monster in the graveyard, banish that as well. Then you draw a card, and then you can send the Toy Vendor you control to the graveyard. And if you do that, then you draw a card. So this is up to 2 draws. You're going to banish 2 cards to do it, and you will be able to send the Toy Vendor, which means you'll be able to get the additional card from Toy Vendor as well. A lot of the times I end up just using polymerization to get Fluffle Wings into the discard pile. It's not a big deal. I did toy around with speeding it up a little bit by using Link Karibo. And the reason for that is, again, we have... Where did it go? Cat was a 1. I run 1 cat. I run 3 wings. Wings are 1s. And Octopus is a 1. So that would have given us 5 targets, which is actually more than respectable to play that. Let me toss that back. The Edge Imp Chain is actually more or less used to do the polymerization plays, the fusion plays. We just basically will look to this effect. If it's sent from the hand or the field to the graveyard, you can add 1 Frightfur from your deck to the hand. And again, this is going to be any one of your spell traps. It's going to be fine. And then you can only use one of his effects or the other effect. So again, we're going to be able to go into like the Frightfur Fusion, Patchwork, which is going to give us an Edge Imp monster plus polymerization again, which is great. And if we drew him off the Toy Vendor, he's immediately going to go from our hand to the discard pile and allow us to go into the Patchwork. And the Patchwork's going to get us the polymerization and another Edge Imp. And we're probably going to go into Sabers. Because again, when you do go into Sabers and you fuse with it, it's going to be in the graveyard. So then you just place a card from your hand to the top of your deck to special summon it back in defense, which allows you to build your board. You can go into a lot of big fusions this way, or you could try to Link Climb if that's more your play style. It's all fine. You guys, again, just play it how it feels natural. Again, Saber's good extension. Scythe is one of those like weird interrupts. This is going to let us fuse during our opponent's turn using cards from our hand and field, including itself as not only the catalyst, but one of the monsters. So we're going to go ahead. We'll send that, and it'll be like, just whatever. You have another Fluffle Bear in your hand. You go ahead, boom, fuse, get your card. And then additionally, he's going to create a little backup effect for you. Because it says right here, if a Frightfur Fusion monster or monsters you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead. So again, if your opponent's going to hit you with something like Raigeki or Lightning Storm, or maybe even Dark Hole because they're just playing super budget, Edge Imp Scythe can not only set you up into the fusion, but additionally protect all of your fusions. So again, like, this is a good card, great card. Kind of wish that I had found the room for a second one. It's just really good. Again, cat's just kind of there. You can send it to the graveyard as, if it's sent to the graveyard as fusion material, then you can target a polymerization in the graveyard and add it right back. So again, you use that polymerization plus the Edge Imps Sabers because you played the Patchwork. You're going to be able to just go ahead and grab back your polymerization anyway. And then if you need to and you want to play the Sabers back, you could just stack the polymerization, or you could do something else. It's all up to you. The dog is also like a really good starter, so when he's normal or special summoned from the hand, you could add an Edgem, Saber, or Fluffle monster from the deck to the hand. And again, this helps you get to the Sabers a little bit quicker because, again, they're a little more important. The Dolphin was okay, not as good. Maybe you could take one of these out and play the other Scythe. Target a toy vendor in the graveyard. Set it, and if you do, send one Fluffle or Edgem Sabers from deck to the graveyard. And again, we could set up the Sabers this way. And if this is sent to the graveyard as fusion material for a fusion summon, you could shuffle into the deck one of your fusion spells or polymerization spells that is banished or in the discard pile, using each effect only once per turn. So that's, again, pretty cool. Octopus was okay. Just okay. Fluffle was a little silly. You might even cut Fluffle down to a single copy instead for the extra Scythe. When this card is normal or special summoned from the hand, add one polymerization from deck to hand, or, because you can only use one effect or the other in a turn, you can pay 500 life points, fusion summon one Frightfur fusion monster from your extra deck using cards from hand and field as materials. Now, he doesn't have to be part of the Catalyst, he doesn't have to go as part of the fusion, but you might as well, because he's not terribly strong, he's only 1,000. Again, one of the things that's going to give you more draw power is going to be the Penguin. He's also going to give you some more summoning. During the main phase, he just allows you to special summon any Fluffle monster from your hand except the same name. And again, that can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. So it's not once per turn. It's only once. So again, it kind of values itself to cycle out. Konami just didn't want this card to be super broken. It still is, kind of. And then, if this card is sent to the graveyard as fusion material for a fusion monster or a Frightfur fusion monster, you can draw 2 cards, drop 1. So again, it's the all-important draw power. Sheep was okay. Sheep is just a quick extension. As long as you don't have, or as long as your only other monster isn't Sheep and it is a Fluffle, then you can just drop this onto the field. Addition, you can return one other Fluffle monster you control to the hand. And again, it has to be one other, so you can't just keep bouncing him and summoning him back. But if you had 2 copies, you could. You just special summon one Edgent monster from the hand to graveyard. So again, it's okay. And again, Wings is basically how you want to mess with your toy vendor once you have those up. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory once you read through the effects. We use 3 types of like reborning spells. This way we could actually play all 3 in a turn if we wanted to, or if we had the opportunity to. And they do different things based on what you're doing. Most of it comes down to you guys figuring out which of your fusion monsters you guys want to settle on. One of my favorite things about this deck was Nightmare, and especially since we can go ahead with the Frightfur fusion and start banishing things that are already in the discard pile. I do like that it gains power. I don't like that it only gains it during our own turn. What I do like is when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets this card on the field as a quick effect, banish one Frightfur monster from your extra deck to negate that. And again, this is the reason like I played 2 of this, and some of the other ones I played 2s of. And some of the ones that just may not be important in every situation, like Daredevil, the second Sabretooth, or even the Sheep. But you guys could expand this. You guys could eliminate the links if you wanted to. Maybe you just maybe you don't have the $20 for an IP Masquerena. Maybe you don't have these 3. The only one I would for sure play is the Cross Sheep for the reborning effect of getting your level 4 lowers back when you fusion summon behind him. That's pretty awesome. Cruel Whale is one of the better ones here. So if this fusion summon destroy 1 card on both players' fields, and again, this is another way for you to get rid of the toy vendor real quick, to just go ahead and start adding more cards to your hand. You'd also target a fusion monster you control and send 1 Frightfur from the deck or extra deck to the graveyard except Whale. And if you do, the targeted monster gains attack equal to half the original attack. Sorry, half of its own original attack. So I actually made a mistake yesterday, because what I said was if you sent Whale, you sent Nightmare for Whale's effect, I said you'd gain 1,000 because Nightmare is 2,000. You would gain another 13 because it's actually Whale's, which would take it up to 39. So again, that's swatting pretty close to an Obelisk the Tormentor, so that's not too bad. Again, Kraken was one of my favorites. He is able to, once per turn, target a monster the opponent controls and send it to the graveyard. He can't attack directly that turn, but he does have the ability to attack twice, so you can swing on 2 monsters and take out a card. So he can generate a bunch of advantage real quick. And then once per turn at the end of the damage step or the battle phase, if it did attack, it can switch itself to defense, which makes it almost impossible to deal with, but not really. And the other one that was like my favorite go-to was going to be the Tiger. So you need sabers and then 1 or more fluffles. And then when it's fusion summoned, you can target cards on the field. So it's not even just monsters, it's spell traps included. Up to the number of fusion materials used for the fusion summon and destroy all those cards. And then all your Frightfurs that you control gain 300 for every Fluffle and Frightfur that you control. So again, it'll kind of bring this one up to, what is that, 2,200? So that's not terrible. But I didn't really want to do any test hands with this. A lot of this is pretty easy to understand. And maybe it's just because I filmed this literally right after filming the deck profile, and it's like 10 o'clock at night. I feel like I'm talking myself in a circle, so I'm not sure how much this is going to help. I do hope that you guys did enjoy this. I hope this did help some. Maybe kind of put you on the path to building your own plays. Again, I just didn't play test this one as much as I normally do. A little bit of scheduling conflict going on right now, and I apologize for that. I need to be better. I really do. But you guys, do me a favor, and don't worry about all the normal things I ask you, just the one. Go out there and try to have yourselves a great day, all right? I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.